I'd like to introduce our guest tonight. I'm very, very happy to bring to our seminar Alexandra Phillips. I've known Alexandra just for about a month, and it seems like I know her forever. She is very easy to connect, has been a great person to know, and I'm sure that tonight's presentation will make a difference for the mentors and mentees, that is students and people looking for jobs and companies. Alexandra believes deeply in the transformative power of coaching and professional development. She graduated cum laude from Brown University. She is an NYU certified executive leadership coach and an ACC accredited member of the International Coaching Federation. Alexandra is a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. She is a contributing author at Forbes, the Conference Board, and Monster.com, to name a few. Alexandra is also proud to be a guide chief. She is a graduate of the Stern School of Business Strategic Steps and Growth Program for MBEs. Alexandra is SAG, AEA, a lifetime member of the Actors Studio, and has magna cum laude degree in acting from the Actors Studio's Drama School. She's excited to be joining the next Executive MA program in Organizational Psychology at Columbia University, and she is Vice President of Strategic Partnership at Sidetime. I'll let Sandra introduce Sidetime and Robert, and please take it away. Thanks for joining our seminar and talking to our students and friends and advisory board members.
Well, thank you so much. I will share that it is also just a pleasure to connect with you, Joaquin. And it is true for you guys jumping on. I feel like I've known you my entire life. And I'm excited for our continued work together. I'm an executive leadership coach. I'm also a consultant for disruptive startups like Sidetime. And we collaborate together to bring you guys the most innovative programs that are coming along. I help executives and companies be more engaged and more efficient. And what that means is that people end up making more money, right? And we kind of like making more money. The reasons why we usually like making more money is because it gives us more time, and time is our absolutely most precious commodity. And when you have more financial resources, and if we're going to talk in terms of financial resources, we talk specifically in terms of dollars right now, then you usually have more ability to make your time your own. And that's what my goal is for everybody that I encounter, is to help them walk their most purposeful path so they have as much time as possible to contribute to the earth for whatever time they're on it. I am going to let Robert introduce himself, and then we're going to dig into this presentation together. There'll be plenty of time for questions. If you have a question as you're going along, make sure you take note of it, or you can drop it in the chat and we'll get to them at the end. Cool? All right, Robert.
Thank you for having us. I think just to give you some context, Sidetime is a platform around mentorship and guidance. And our goal is to try to unlock expertise and make it easy for working professionals to be able to share their experience and their expertise kind of seamlessly with students, early career on their pathway. And we've had a great deal of success in a number of other industries. So for example, in film, food, and music, we have Academy Award winners and nominees, Emmy Award winners and nominees, Grammy Award winners and nominees, and celebrity chefs from the Food Network, as well as James Beard Award winners. I think what we're trying to do is to make and to highlight and uncover sort of stars within the data science and analytics field. So I think, SUNY Buffalo State has an exceptional program. We'd love to try to bring additional context that we have. I do happen to know the heads of data science and analytics, whether from Goldman Sachs or from Spotify or from leading startups that are venture-backed. We're able to bring expertise to the platform. And part of it that Alexandra will talk about is that we have structured sessions that we would love to pilot with students at SUNY Buffalo and mentors as well to help guide them through this process. And so we're really excited to collaborate with Alexandra and to pilot this program at SUNY Buffalo State.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you guys an overview of how we're going to go through. There's going to be plenty of time for questions. Remember, if you have a question, be an advocate for others and ask it, because if I haven't answered the question, it's on me, right? And make sure that you're sharing with others what we all need to know. So here we are. Wait, ta-da, ta-da. All right. So Sidetime equalizes access to diverse expert networks by eliminating barriers around ease, trust, and accessibility. And why this is important is they're reimagining, and we are reimagining how students learn how to work. If you have not entered the workforce before, or you're getting ready to, or if you feel as though you're at a new point in your career and you're about to jump in, when you have the connections of your community around you, that's when you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you're more able to take risks. And when we take better risks, bigger risks, not jumping out of a plane kind of risk, but when you take your most comfortable square and you take one foot and exist outside it in a space that's a little unknown, then we grow, and we grow exponentially. And when we connect with others, we also grow. And one of the things that we know is some of the statistics right now, because we live in this amazing virtual network, we're able to connect with people all the time. The challenge is we don't always connect with them on a real, like, one-to-one level, where we're able to help other people through the challenges. The virtual networks are incredible, but how can we disrupt how they've been used up to this point so that we can really use them to create connections? And that's what Sidetime is doing. They're creating connections in a new and innovative way to bring a mentoring network to the digital age. We're going to reimagine the way we learn how to work. And we know that success in learning is a function of access to relevant networks. If you had access to the head of HR at the company that you want to work in, you'd have a better shot, right? And if you had access to the executive vice presidents, or if you had access to the ins and outs of these places, you know you'll have a better shot at being brought to the top of the list of resumes, right? Because we all know that they can be thick, right? And when we feel like we have a sense of belonging and we've created those connections, again, we're more likely to take risks. We're more likely to share our ideas in a meeting. And it's when these things happen, when we're outside of our comfort zone, that real learning happens, right? So one of the things that's interesting about Sidetime's mentoring program is that they've curated these very specific modules. And there are 6 modules that are going to help students gain insights and tools that will help them feel more confident, create a career path, learn how to network, and make actionable goals, right? So those are the things we need to do. We need to make a plan, we need to make some goals, and we need to make sure that we have accountability around those goals. When those things happen, we progress a lot faster, further. And again, the results are that we tend to make a little bit more money, which tends to make us all just a little bit happier, right? And making connections now is more critical than ever. We know that when we share our expertise with others, even if you're a student right now and you feel as though everybody else has all the insider information, I promise you do as well. And you have something to share with someone else. And in a mentoring experience where you feel as though you might be getting all of the information, the truth of the matter is your expert or your mentor is also getting a lot as well. We're ideally co-creating this experience where it's balanced. And even if you are gaining a tremendous amount of industry knowledge or how to work, you're also giving it, because we know that when your teachers are lecturing or anything and they're giving you knowledge, they're learning in the moment as well, right? And ideally, they're sharing a part of themselves, because your professors and your experts that you encounter, they're not just sharing 1 + 1 = 2. What they're sharing is how they themselves figured out that 1 + 1 = 2. And if you have an empathic connection with that person, then you're more likely to take those chances as well. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take fear, we're going to take failure, and we're going to reframe them, because both fear and failure are essential to your growth and your success. So when I think in terms of fear, I think of it this way. And you may have heard this before. So this is not, I'm not creating the wheel right here, but it's the false evidence that appears real, right? So when you feel concerned about something, when you're feeling a little bit of fear around something, you're usually manufacturing some false evidence that appears real. It could be, I'm never going to get this job. I never had a resume that makes any sense to anybody. I don't have industry content knowledge. I don't, right? And I don't have enough to all of a sudden bring myself there. So what's the false evidence that appears real? That you don't get to have those things. And I promise you, even with all of these Brady Bunch screens in front of me, if you guys even know the Brady Bunch, I think I just dated myself, but that you guys can do it, right? And you do have access to these things. And part of what having a mentor or an expert in this context does is it allows you to have that confidence. And I promise you that when you feel confident, you get what you want. So one of the things Joaquin shared at the beginning was that, and it's always weird to listen to somebody else read your resume. I tell you, it's like, ugh. But I do have experience. I was an actor for a long time. I'm SAG, I'm after AEA, I'm a member of the Actors Studio. But I was also on the other side of the auditioning table, right? And I would sometimes help people go through their auditions. And I kid you not, you knew who was going to get the job the second they walked in the room. You didn't need to say a word, they didn't need to do anything. It was the level of confidence that came into the room that got them their job. And that was it. And it could be a real big industry job. It could be reading a scene with somebody. But if you walked in and you felt confident, then you would absolutely get what you want. And so what we're looking to do is provide the confidence through reps that allow you to mitigate the fear and then switch the word fail. So if we think in terms of the word fail, I have 2 kids and sometimes they say that they're like fail. And I'm like, great, well, what is a failure? A failure is our first attempt in learning, right? We got to try something out. If you're going to give me your first attempt at it, well, hopefully we're not going to get it right every single time. If I get everything right that I ever did, I'd really have no fun. I wouldn't be engaged. I wouldn't try harder. I wouldn't want to do anything, right? Most of the things that we enjoy or we're engaged with mimic a video game. And maybe you've heard this before, but when you're in flow, you usually feel as though you're in a state of playing a video game. And if you've played a really good video game, then you know they give you levels really quickly. They let you know when you've won. They let you know when you've progressed. You can do things better and faster. And it's that feedback that allows us to feel good and take new chances, right? So we're going to get rid of fear and we're going to get rid of failure in the context that we engage with them right now, and we're going to shift them. And the way we usually shift those things is through both confidence and support. So I don't know if you guys have any creatures that you've made yourself. Like I said, I have 2 of them, or if you have any nieces or nephews, or if you've ever watched like a little one try to learn how to walk. Usually kids walk at about a year. Some are faster, some are slower. But when they fall, what do? Do we say, oh, sorry, we're not going to do that anymore? No, we cheer. If a kid falls when they're learning to walk, we absolutely cheer. We applaud, we say great fall, we let them know they put their hands out, right? We allow them to feel confident and supported so they try it again. Because what if they fail the first time and you just pick them up and said, that's okay, you know, I'll do all the walking for you from now on. Well, that would not only would you be tired at the end of the day, but the creature that you're supposed to learn or teach to fly out of the nest would just be stuck with you forever. Now, I love mine very, very much, but if they were still walking around like little blobs or not walking around, it would be tough. So what do? We provide confidence and support. And this is what Sidetime is going to do, is they're creating confidence and support in one-on-one mentoring modules that allow you to ask the questions in a safe space that you want to know and to get the insider information that will help progress your career. Because I want you to think about this. Also, you're going to need a pencil and paper in a moment, just to take some personal notes. You don't need to share them with anybody, but we think differently when we write as opposed to type. But when you have the confidence and support and the space to ask the questions that allow you to feel safe and connected, you grow much faster. And also then you don't feel the fear that keeps you from taking chances, right? When you take chances, rocking and rolling. Okay, so now there's just going to be a little bit of a little workshop time. I'm going to ask you to grant me a grand total of 300 seconds for imagination. And this is one of my favorites because I absolutely love Alice in Wonderland. But if you knew time as well as I do, said the Hatter, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. because no time in a space of imagination is wasted. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to think on a grand total of 180 seconds first, and then we're going to do 120-second reflection. So the first part is 180 seconds. And what I want you to do is think on this. If all of a sudden I project you into the future where you are graduating and where you are getting exactly what you want, what does it look like? And this is how I want you to phrase it. So write down your first note is this: I want to be, and then fill in the blank. And my question to you is, who do you truly want to be? Do you want to be someone with a good job? Do you want to be someone with a solid friend network? Who do you want to be, and what does it look like? Okay, so I have 5:20 on my screen. We're going to take a grand total of 180 seconds. I want you to jot down as many of your personal I want to be's as you can. And then we're going to reflect on it. I got 5:21 now. Okay, so on your mark, get set, go, 180 seconds. Take another 60 seconds and then we'll wrap it up. All right, and bring that last thought to a close. This, for now, I'll give you a pause on it. You can always come back to this whenever you want. And I won't ever ask anybody to do anything I don't do for myself. So this is an activity I do all the time. And likely you'll expand upon it more in the Sidetime experience. They really let you go deep into this activity. But it helps you to have a little bit of clarity around what it is that you want. And then my next question to you is there's an item on your list that you're really excited about. I would love for you to avoid the shoulds and just dig into wherever your energy draws you most. Now, how will you get what it is you want? If you want to be something, for example, if I want to be a marathon runner and I've never run around a block, how am I going to do it? Because it's been a long time since I ran around a block. But how am I going to get what it is that I want? If I want to be chief financial officer of Google, how am I going to get what I want? If I want to be somebody who, whatever it is that's important to you, who do you want to be? Now I need to know, how is it that you're going to get what it is you want? And who can help you do it? So here we are in the mentoring piece. Who is it that you need that will give you the industry insights, the connections, and the growth that would help you get what it is you want? And that's what Sidetime is here to give you. Sidetime is going to give you the connections to the people that would help you get what it is you want, so you can truly ask the questions that will help prompt you on your path for growth. And what's pretty amazing about it is they do it in very curated modules that don't take a lot of time, because this is the thing that's always a challenge, is time, right? And I did tell you time is our most precious commodity, right? Time is what is of value, absolutely, of a dollar value. But when you engage, when you give yourself the time to ask of industry experts the questions you have, to clarify what it is you truly want, and give yourself time to engage on a new level, that's when you tend to get what it is that you want. And my job, if you are my private client, is to get you what you want. If you are my consulting agreement, I want to get you what you want. I always engage with the people in front of me, and I want them to have whatever it is they want. Now we just got to make a plan on how you're going to get it. And the way I feel as though you're going to be able to engage with what it is you want is by connecting with people who are the experts in those industries will help you do it. Sidetime has created several modules that walk you through the process of connecting with a mentor, who we're going to call an expert, and a mentee, your seeker. That's you guys, if you're the students. If you're the seeker of knowledge, who would you like to connect with? Probably an expert. Probably not someone who doesn't know exactly what's going on. But if you're seeking knowledge and you connect with an expert and they give you what it is you want, then my question, if I were pushing you, is what are you going to do with that information? It's great to have it. And now how do you take action? And in the 6 modules, you can go through many very specific pieces, which allow you to initially create the relationship with your seeker, if you're with your seeker if you're the expert, and your expert if you're the seeker, right? They help to create the relationships. When and if it finishes, right, and you want to continue that relationship, there'll be more prompts to help you move that along, or it may be that the mentoring relationship kind of takes on a life of its own. But we all know, or at least back when we used to go to like networking events, way back when, this was pre-COVID, so maybe I'm the only one who experienced this. We walk around and you go to a networking event and drink a very bad glass of wine and try and meet as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. It's really not very valuable. But if you have that one-on-one connection with somebody and your job is to help them grow, whether you're the seeker or the expert, well, then we are engaged and then we get value. All right, so what do I want from you guys? I'll share this over here. I also only get, let's see. So this is how it's going to work. You're going to get to, if you're the seeker, you're going to connect with your expert. You're going to schedule a session, and you're going to follow the modules. It's safe, it's secure. No personal information ever needs to be exchanged right away. So this is, it's safe for both the seeker and it's safe for the expert as well. We respect the expert's time. We're able to schedule things and keep it in a really confined space, so it's comfortable for everybody. The modules give you prompts so that you don't have to do anything. All of the modules right now are 15 minutes long. So you're looking to engage in 6 15-minute modules. Yeah, there's a little bit of extra prompt here and there if you want to engage with it in between sessions, but that's really up to you. And you know that you usually get whatever you put into something, right? So this is what I'm going to ask of you, is how can you help? Well, you can be ready. When you engage with your expert, if you're the seeker, be ready for the session. Spend a little bit of time researching that person, get to know what it is, where their path took them. And how else can you help if you're the expert? Look a little bit at the information that you get on your seeker as well. And this is what I want you to think about if you are the expert or the industry professional. What would it have been like if somebody had your back when you were entering the workforce? Or if you had that door opened for you, do you know in your heart of hearts what it did for you? because those of us who had access to networks earlier on, I was very fortunate. Doors were open sometimes. It makes a huge difference, right? And if you didn't have it, we want to have, like, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? We want to be able to give that to others. We don't want to say, like, oh, just because I didn't have, I don't want you to have either. If you encounter those people, push them away. Take that energy and let it go on its journey. Because what we want to do is we want to encourage growth in everyone. When you encourage growth in everyone, you encourage growth in yourself as well, right? And how can you help? You can be ready for your sessions. You can share your experiences if you're an expert. Don't assume anything, and be an advocate for others. All right. And then the important thing is to never stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. And so Sidetime wants to know what you know. And this is going to be the part where you get to do a little bit of work. Is there going to be surveys for you to do at the start and the end points? And that will give information to others. So like I said, if you have a question, and we'll get to them in a moment, you want to be advocate for others and let them know your experience. Don't assume that everybody knows how it goes, right? When you have a user experience, and you don't let anybody know, well, they can't grow either. So if there are places where you feel as though it would be valuable to share insights, that would be incredibly valuable as we engage in this pilot. So here we are. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you right away, but before we go any further, let's dig into some of those questions. What you guys got? And I'll also let Robert, who's the CEO, field a lot of them, but what questions do you have for us? Or perhaps they're even in the chat. What you guys got?
Feel free to unmute yourself also and ask a question if you don't want to write it on there. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so let's say that I wind up working with Sidetime, and I want to be able to put myself in a position to maybe work as a genomic data scientist remotely upon graduation. I would meet with an expert, and then what are the next steps from there? Do I research the positions themselves? Do I work with the expert to get the positions? What do I do at that point?
Do you mind if I clarify your question?
Sure.
Okay, so it sounds to me as though what you're asking is you connect with the expert, and then what do you do?
Yes, what would I do?
I would like for you to have the experience of connecting with the expert. So that might sound a little large, but what I want is, or what Sidetime wants for you is to have the moment of connecting with a human and allowing yourself to be in a place of unknowing, right? This is our most challenged place usually, of being in a place of unknowing and asking what's of value to you. Now, so that you're not just kind of hanging out without, it's like you're going on a date and you don't have anything to talk about. That's where the modules will help guide you through the process and help generate the questions. But I feel like you're about to add something that I'm not clarifying. Go ahead.
No,
that helps. Okay. And the idea is that they're crafted for you to progress through each module. And then, yes, absolutely. It's always of value to do your due diligence and research the company and research the individual. If you guys want to know, a secret is that everybody has a pretty big digital footprint, and you can pretty much find anybody's favorite baseball team and know whether or not it's of value very quickly or whatever is of value to them. And you can connect over it, or you can also just ask and say, you know, this is what's of value to me. I live in, I can do these things. But it's when you create that human connection, that's when we know that you have growth potential. And as someone who hires, these are the things that I look for, right? Somebody who has a growth mindset, which means that you can have an idea about something, get new information and change your mind, right? That's the most important piece. If you get new information, you can change your mind based on your ideas. Awesome. 2, this is the biggest one. You do what it is you say you're going to do. And if you don't have the ability to do what you say you're going to do, you give me a note and let me know why. Cool. The 3rd one is this. I need to be able to want to have some sort of beverage with you on my time. So I want to either have tea or coffee with you before my day starts, or I want to be able to have a glass of wine with you when my day ends. I won't hang out for forever, but I want to enjoy your company enough so that you're worthwhile to work with the next day. Those are the most important pieces. And most of your experts will share something along those lines with you.
Last question I have is, I don't know if this is different for Buff State students, but how much will this cost? Does it come as a cost us? I mean, what are the cost scales?
I will, right now the pilot is being offered entirely for free, but I will also field that question to Robert and Joaquin.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, so let me give you some additional context. I think Alexandra covered quite a bit. And so I think one of the things that we're excited to pilot with you are these structured sessions. So there's a couple components, and if I take a little bit of a step back and then try to provide a little bit more of a framework. I mean, first of all, just starting with your last question, we're intending to pilot this with you for free. So we of course are interested in seeing your success, seeing what your feedback is. We've had success in other fields, and we'd like to try to have success in this field in the sense that our mission, and we are a mission-driven company, is to help people, particularly in this time in our society, be able to make connections that help them unlock expertise and share expertise in a more seamless and sustainable way. And so part of it is that, just to start somewhere and take a step back, is that in terms of next steps, if you're interested in participating, we'll be circulating a survey. We'll be asking you a little bit about your background, what your interests are, and then as part of that survey, for both seekers and for experts who might, and essentially mentors who would participate, we want to get a sense of your background and what you're looking to gain from the platform. And part of that is that we, Sidetime, want to help SUNY Buffalo recruit additional mentors in addition to the great mentors you have already, right? And so as a seeker, you as a student or a recent alumni from the program, you may come to the platform, you'd have a code, you can sign up for free, and then you could find an expert or mentor and then schedule time with them through the structured sessions that Alexandra has talked extensively about. And it's those structured sessions, without totally paraphrasing or summarizing, where it strengthens your fundamental skills around leadership, growth, connection, having the right mindset as you search for a project, an internship, or a job, and to strengthen how you navigate sort of one-on-one connections. But in addition to that, the intent of the platform, in addition to this session, the set of sessions that you go through with one mentor, it's possible for you to connect with other mentors who might be in other fields. So it's possible that you'll spend your one-on-one session, I'm just going to pick an example, with someone who works for the federal government for NOAA, weather data. And perhaps weather data isn't something that you're currently interested in, but maybe through the course of going through that one-on-one relationship and growing as a person and as a potential leader in the field, you might become interested. But that being said, even if you don't end up interested, they're helping you grow as a potential leader in the space. But then our goal, the intent of Sidetime, is that you can also, outside of the sessions, also connect with other experts for somewhere between as little as 5 to 15 minutes or more, to have questions, to talk about your background, to explore ideas for projects, see how you might network within a particular field. So if you're interested in whatever, music, or you're interested in agricultural data, or if you're interested in financial data, or healthcare data, that from our original survey, we're going to make every effort we can to recruit a broad range of mentors and experts to hopefully satisfy the needs of the current student population. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Actually, if I can add one point to what you're saying, I just had a conversation with the USDA team. Peter Scarabelli is here, and they mentioned that they have several. Yeah, comments, anyone?
No, I just said hello to Peter, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Because yes, yes. Nonso connected us with Peter, and that so they do the pathways to meeting with them would be first you do a professional lab, right? If so in the first set of interviews, if you like it, which I hope you do because they have a ton of really good data. Then the second part would be, if that works, then it could lead into an agreement where there's a placement, and that becomes more of an internship. And then afterwards, it becomes a temporary employment. This is an example. Peter, I don't know if you want to jump in. Any questions that you have for our presenters or the program itself?
So far, I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. And you hit it right on the head, Joaquin. So if anybody knows anything about the unique federal hiring process, it's extremely difficult to navigate. And it can be an extreme challenge. So what Joaquin was talking about is having the opportunity to do a lab project, show us that and tell us that you're interested in further pursuing something of this nature. And then what we have is a program that we would work. So first we would sign an MOU with Buffalo State College with this program. And then you'll do the lab program. Tell us you're interested in this kind of, so you're fascinated with market news data. So part of our program is market news. So they tell us what livestock and poultry is going to cost you tomorrow, what it costs you today, how much trucking services are, things of that nature. So you're interested in that and you loved it, right? And that was what you worked on in the lab. Now we can actually bring you on through what's similar to a fellowship program, which is a schedule AR. So right, you would not start off as a career, you would be an accepted service. So what that means is we come in for a certain amount of time. You have, so most of them are 1 to 2 years, very similar to the pathway that Joaquin was talking about. And then you may get hired into that division that you've been working within over that time, beginning a paycheck, although smaller than a federal employee paycheck for a while, but you'd be getting a paycheck that's comparable with a lower grade federal employee. So I hope that explained a little bit about what we had talked about, because that's something we're definitely going to pursue very quickly.
Thanks so much, Peter. And we have other people from our advisory board, like Karen is here, Amin Serhali. I'm not sure if I'm seeing everybody. Those other people from Barb from Blue Design. So the idea is, right, that Sidetime is gonna help the process of finding the right people and knowing what you're getting into, if I understand correctly. So that's all I wanted to mention. And if anybody from the advisory board or industry want to ask questions, maybe this is the time, since Robert and Alexandra are here.
And while you may be thinking on your question, I'll just notice what Peter shared is that when you have that initial experience, then people have content knowledge of you. You get to be the content. And when we know you, that's when we're happier to refer you to the right people or potentially create the connections that might lead to employment. As you guys know, there are lots of people available for potential jobs, and it's good to know somebody, right?
I don't have a question, Joaquin. This is Amin from Independent Health. Miro actually is on the call as well. And both Miro and I, are speaking for Miro here too, but we have many years of experience in healthcare, and we'll be more than happy to help others and mentor others if they have any questions, want to know anything about healthcare data, things like that. We're more than happy to help.
Thanks. That's wonderful. Yeah,
That's
great.
incredibly generous. Thank you.
That'd be great.
Anybody else? Remember, it's good to be an advocate for others. If you have something percolating in your brain, it's likely that we haven't answered it. It wasn't intentional.
Are there any doubts or questions from the mentors or mentees, or the timeline where this is going to happen? Because I mean, the first step will be the modules, right? There are 6 modules, each one 15 minutes. Now, the 6 modules are done with one student, one mentor and one mentee, the 6 modules?
Yes.
And then, so basically then there would be a pool of students interested in going through this and a pool of mentors interested in this, right? And then how do we connect them? I mean, is everybody with, I mean, there is, the combinations is a large number.
Well, so sorry if it's not meant to be abstract. It is an existing platform. So basically, once you have a login, you would create your own profile as a seeker, as a student, and ideally the mentors have already created also their profile and indicated their areas of expertise. For example, whether it's agricultural data or healthcare data or financial data, et cetera, and areas of analytics. So, you know, so every expert can basically set their own office hours and also set how they want to be available. So speaking to the experts for a second who are on the call, right? Experts can then choose, I will be available for 1 or 2 students which is, you know, basically, you know, an hour-and-a-half commitment. I'm willing to go do one-on-ones with X number of students. And then I'm also available for example, 5 to 15-minute ask me anything questions, right? So that way it's possible for you to, as an expert, bound your time. Like you're like, I love SUNY Buffalo, but I'm only available for, you know, 4 hours over the year total. And so this is how you would do it. You'd be available for, you know, an hour-and-a-half with 1 student, and then your remaining 2.5 hours could be broken into 15-minute sessions for students or recent alumni to ask you questions about the field, about, you know, potential job opportunities or internships or projects. So that way it's structured and sustainable from your side as well.
By the way, it's SUNY Buffalo State. I mean, there is a difference.
Sorry, I don't mean to, yes. Yeah, sorry.
And by the way, this is not only restricted to our advisory board, which of course they get the first picks, but we're going to open this to a number of companies that Sidetime is bringing to us. And it's also other companies that once we have the infrastructure, it will be much, much easier for these companies, rather than going blindly and posting what they need on Indeed or somewhere else. It's going to be so much more appealing for them to have a platform where they can interact with students and get to know us better. I see this as a win-win situation and a great model to use in these times where really there is a lot of fear of not finding the right job or fear not to find the right candidate for your company.
Absolutely. I'll share that with you guys as well. If you are the seeker, there's as much concern and fear on the part of the hiring people as you may be feeling that you're experiencing. And when you have a stack of potential talent and you don't even know how to begin with it, and what if I make a decision and then we're going to be together for a long time, that can be challenging on both sides. So this mitigates a lot of those concerns by allowing there to be a one-on-one connection with people and allowing you to let your best self shine.
Love it. Yeah, great.
Sometimes if there aren't questions, you just need to process, and sometimes you can just take those moments on your own to process what you're thinking and what you might be coming up with. There's always a time to ask other questions later on down the road. These are not the only seconds available in your life. Ideally, you know, if other things come up, we can, you know, send an email, send a question, things get answered. But
has everybody signed in? Heather, did you post the attendance? Oh, here. So remember,
I just saw it.
what about the advisory board and other industry members? Heather, they should probably also sign up in that place. So there is a link in the chat box where you can sign in and put your email and contact. I suppose, Alexandra, that's how we are going to, and Robert, is that how we are going to connect with them for now, tonight?
Yes, I think if everyone signs in and puts in their email, we'll be sending out a survey and then using that to communicate codes with them to sign up.
Yeah, Heather, can you put the link again? And there are other companies that Robert mentioned that he is familiar with. And then also we will extend an invitation to a number of other partners that we know that we're familiar with. And let's see how it goes.
All right. Yes, I think people are dropping a couple of other things in the chat. We hope to connect with you, and it's such a pleasure to spend the evening with you. If you have other questions that percolate, you'll send them either to Joaquin or to Robert, and we'll navigate getting you any answers that are not readily available right in this moment. All righty. Well, then it's been a pleasure, and I will look forward to seeing you guys another time.
Thanks so much, Alexandra and Robert. It was great. Big hands.
Oh, I think it will take
your
that.
presentation, and thanks everyone for joining us. And we'll see you in the next seminar a week from now, the students and guests. And in the meantime, please sign into the attendance sheet, and then Sidetime will get in touch with you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Great. Thanks, everyone.